In this episode, I'm going to be talking with you all about how to become established in your market. Before we dive into the content, if you're interested in learning more about pricing or posing, be sure to visit the links below. Hi, my name is Guidry and I'm a wedding photographer, and I'm super excited to talk to you more about how to become more established in your market. If you're in your market where you live, that's one thing, but also I know for me, I've actually moved into a new market. So maybe you find yourself actually living somewhere but trying to become established somewhere else. First and foremost, if you want to become established in a new area or in your own area, you have to physically be there. When you're becoming established in a new market, you want to be seen. People want to know who you are. So it's going to take you actually physically driving or flying to that market in order to begin building relationships. Ultimately, relationships are huge. They're the best way for you to get referrals from other vendors, other wedding professionals, and other photographers. If you are living 3 hours away or even an airplane flight away, photographers, videographers, wedding vendors, and professionals in your industry, they're going to continue to refer people that they see often. So what you want to do is you want to stay top of mind. Okay, so what are some ways to do that? I think a good place to start is by reaching out to local venues. Oftentimes, venues are open for venue tours and they have the staff and facility to be able to accommodate you. So if you want to go into a new city and get a tour of the venue, that's more than likely doable. In that opportunity, you probably want to bring along your camera, put on your best face, look professional, and try to make a good impression. I would also suggest taking photos of the venue while you're there. What that does is it gives you the opportunity to take those photos home, edit them, and really get some beautiful images for you to post on social media, to share with the venue, or maybe even blog about. By doing that, you're not only creating a good relationship with the venue coordinator and reminding them, again, staying top of mind, but you're also giving yourself content. With those images that you took while you were on your venue visit, you can post them on social media, you can use hashtags, you can also post them on your blog and tag appropriately. When other people are searching for those venues, they might be searching that venue hashtag, searching that venue on Google, and then guess what? Your images are going to pop up. That's huge. Even if people don't know you firsthand in that area, by putting yourself out there in a searchable SEO capacity, you're giving people the opportunity to stumble upon your work. What type of hashtags can you use? Well, say you're trying to get established in Charleston. You could do Charleston wedding, Charleston venue, Charleston wedding venue. People usually start when planning their weddings with the venue. So not only are venues of all the vendors more than likely able to facilitate a meeting, some vendors like say photographers or florists, they're usually only one person or maybe a very small staff. And so a lot of times they can't go out to coffee or meet you in person, but venues usually can facilitate that. So again, starting with the venue is great for multiple reasons. And usually when a client is planning a wedding, they start with the venue. So where else does a client usually start? With the wedding planner. In addition to going and seeing venues, I would also make it a point to go and meet with planners. I understand that a lot of times planners cannot accommodate new meetings, but it's always worth a shot. The worst they can do is tell you no. I would reach out to multiple planners. I would reach out to multiple venues, especially if you're living outside of the city. You can go into the city, really utilize that time there. You can go into the city and build images. If you think about the client journey, when they get engaged, they usually start with wedding planning in a couple of different ways: venue, a planner, or a photographer. Being that you're the photographer trying to get established in that new area, they may or may not find you in that market, but they will be finding their venues and their planners. And you can make it a point to establish a relationship with those people and also create segues into getting images of them. So I talked about how to get images of the venues, but you could also offer for a wedding planner to do some headshots for them, do family portraits for them while you're in the city. If you're in your own market and you're photographing in your own area, even better. That makes scheduling way easier to set up with a wedding planner to do headshots or family photos. Oftentimes, times wedding planners are in need of images, and it gives you the chance to show them firsthand what it's like to work with you. What's better than that? By setting up these appointments with wedding planners, you're offering a service that you can give to them, and you're allowing them the chance to meet you and get to see what it's like to work with you. After wedding venues and wedding planners, the next thing you should consider is other wedding photographers. If you're going to be visiting that city or even the city that you're in and you want to become more established in that area, you need to reach out to other photographers. Having a strong network of referrals and other photographers is important for a multitude of reasons. First and foremost, if you ever get in a bind, you're going to need a friend to step up for you in the industry. But in addition to that, if you're trying to get established in the market, you want other photographers to know who you are. You want them to be able to refer you if they don't have capacity to take on that event. You want them to just know your name if they're talking to other planners or other vendors. There's nothing better than a client mentioning your name to a vendor and then that vendor reinforcing how good of a decision it was that they hired you in the first place. If you're trying to become more established in a market, there are 3 avenues that I would suggest going down: wedding venue, wedding planner, other photographers. In addition to that, you want to be able to create your own images in the city. Maybe that looks like styling a photo shoot for yourself. You can set up models in that area, set up a tablescape in that area. Go and photograph in some of the most beautiful, iconic settings that you feel like could most represent your brand. By showing your images in that city, it further validates for people who are looking for a photographer in that market that you are the one for them. One thing you might want to consider as well is having yourself photographed in that area. If, for example, you are a Colorado photographer and you're looking to do more weddings in New York, if your bio photo and all the photos on your website look very mountainous and outdoors, maybe it doesn't fit the vibe of a New York high fashion editorial bride. You want to have images in that city, not only of your clients, but also of yourself, so that the client can very easily envision you photographing their wedding. The more familiar that you can be with an area, the more valuable that you will be to your client. When a client reaches out for that initial meeting, they're going to have a lot of questions, not just about your photography, but about the area, about the weather, about the venues. If you sound very knowledgeable and very familiar with the questions that they're having, they're going to know immediately that you can provide the value that they're looking for, not just in your images, but also in your expertise. I know it can be scary, especially if you're living somewhere and trying to get established in a new market. But even if you're in a market and you feel like you haven't actually gotten established in that market yet, I know it's scary. It's hard to put yourself out there, and sometimes it feels like you're never gonna get where you wanna go. You continue to stay top of mind by putting yourself out there, creating images in that area, and networking to build the relationships. You will continue to be top of mind for others, and you will continue to receive referrals and work in that area. I know that oftentimes it seems like you're never gonna get there, but really it's about playing the long game. Building and keeping those relationships in that market are really what's going to take you there in the end. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope that wherever you are or wherever you want to be, you continue to grow, build, play the long game, and begin to grow and become even more established in your market. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe, and I hope to bring you more helpful, valuable content moving forward. Happy shooting.